There are stories that start quietly, so quietly that nobody realizes they are already becoming something serious. And that is exactly what makes this case so disturbing. Because the real question is not what happened in the end, but how long it was happening before anyone truly understood it. In August 2023, in a quiet town in England called Woking, something was discovered that would later draw national attention. At first, it seemed like just another local incident, nothing that would suggest it would become widely discussed. But very quickly, investigators realized this was not a simple case. It involved a 10-year-old girl named Sara Sharif. And from the very beginning, one thing became clear. This story is not only about what was discovered, it is about what was missed along the way. On the surface, Sara's life may not have looked unusual. School, home, daily routines, familiar surroundings, the kind of life where most people would assume everything is normal. But that is exactly what makes this case difficult to understand. Because later, when investigators began to connect the information, a different picture started to appear. And the most important question became, how many signs were there that nobody fully connected in time? One detail immediately stood out during the investigation. Just before the case became public, part of the family left the country. That fact alone raised serious attention from authorities. Soon after, one of the adults involved contacted law enforcement. From that moment, the situation was no longer just a report. It became a full investigation into what had actually been happening behind the scenes. And as more details were examined, a clear pattern slowly emerged. This was not something that happened in a single moment. It developed over time, gradually, quietly, and that is what made it so difficult to detect earlier. Because in situations like this, the warning signs are rarely loud. They are often small, scattered, easy to overlook on their own. But when they are not connected, they lose their meaning. And that leads to the most important question in this entire story. How many separate signals does it take before action is taken seriously? And why do those signals sometimes remain disconnected until it is too late to change the outcome? The case eventually reached court, where the actions of the adults involved were carefully reviewed. Serious sentences were given, and responsibility was determined through the legal process. But even after the court decision, the story did not feel completely closed. Because a legal outcome answers responsibility, but it does not fully answer how the situation was allowed to develop. Unnoticed for so long, after this case, the conversation shifted beyond one family or one event. It raised broader questions about how warning signs are recognized and shared, how information is connected, and how often early concerns may not be fully understood in time. The story of Sara Sharif is not just a criminal case. It is a reminder of how easily separate details can remain unconnected until the full picture is already too late to see clearly. And in many situations, the issue is not the complete absence of warning signs. It is the delay in recognizing how those signs relate to each other. And that leaves a final question that stays long after the story ends. How many situations go unnoticed simply because no one is able to connect the dots early enough? And what would need to change so that the next time the outcome is different?